Welcome to What's Your 2020 Vision, Cash Flow, and Budgeting. My name is Bob Christoffel, Manager of Benefit Education at Wespath Benefits and Investments. The focus of this mini webinar will be cash flow and budgeting. Understanding and utilizing these tools effectively can have a positive impact on your financial well-being. All financial planning starts with a conversation. Speak with all your loved ones who are impacted by your financial decisions, such as your spouse or partner or other family members. You need to find a balance. There may be reasonable changes you can make to improve your financial picture. After all, financial planning is about trade-offs and choices. Decisions you make today will impact what life looks like down the road. The objective of today's mini webinar are to understand some basic steps in the financial planning process. We'll review financial concepts such as net worth, cash flow, and budgets, and to understand the EY services available to you as an eligible participant. Then to take the next steps along your financial journey to improve your financial well-being. The first step in this process is to determine your cash flow and use this to establish a budget. Cash flow is simply how much of your income is left after subtracting all your expenses, and can be expressed with this equation. Cash flow equals income minus expenses. For cash flow, the income calculation should be fairly easy to determine, to look at your sources of income. It is important to list all your income sources and to include all of your expenses. The goal of understanding your cash flow is to know exactly what is coming in and what is going out. It is important for this not to be a negative number. Add up all your monthly take-home pay, what actually reached your bank account, income again from all sources, and then estimate your monthly expenses, remembering to include expenses that don't actually occur every month. Subtract your total monthly expenses from your total take-home income to get an estimate of your cash flow. Be a financial detective. Record all of your income and expenses for at least 3 to 6 months. Since you will be initially looking at your income and spending on a monthly basis, it is important to remember to include all expenses and those items such as tax payments or car insurance that might not incur monthly. These items can be converted into monthly amounts to be included in your monthly income and spending amounts. There are different ways to track your expenses, and it really is important to point out that there's no right way to do this. There's just different ways. The one that works for you best may be different for another person. You will track all of your income and expenses, perhaps in just a notebook for the first 3 to 6 months. At that time, you'll add up everything, and you might be surprised to find how much you're spending on small items, and this can really add up to larger sums by the end of 3 to 6 months. Tracking your expenses using a mobile app has become very popular. There are many different apps available for tracking your spending. Apps allow you to take your budget wherever you go as you make financial decisions in real time. Consulting with your app before purchasing can prevent impulse buys and keep your spending on track. Investopedia has chosen Mint.com from Intuit as the best free money management app. An all-in-one resource, really, for creating a budget, tracking your spending, and getting smart about your money and where it is going. It might not be your favorite, but many of our participants have used it. Other apps to consider are Level Money and Personal Capital. You can just Google to find really great apps out there that work best for you. A method that I like to use is tracking expenses using a spreadsheet like Excel. This gives you really more control for customization than is available on an app. Apple Numbers, Google Sheets, or Microsoft Excel are really terrific tools available for you. You can create your own free expense spreadsheet template or down pre-developed budget spreadsheets and really customize it to fit your needs. If you bank online, you may be able to export your account details and even credit card spending directly into one of these programs. Track your expenses using personal finance software. There is a lot of personal finance software options that are designed to fit really different needs. Some help you master budgeting and expense tracking, while others can help with investment portfolio management going forward. The recently rated some of the software options for 2020, finding that Quicken was the best overall rated. Mint is also best for budgeting. Unlike the spreadsheet method, when you have to export your data to the file, many personal finance software options allow you to link directly to your accounts so that the information is already available at your fingertips to analyze. Some things to consider when choosing software options are the cost, what restrictions they might have, reporting, human support, and access to your credit score. Here is an example of a cash flow statement and a list of expenses using an Excel spreadsheet. It assumes 25% of the paycheck is going toward income taxes, so we're looking at the take-home pay. The bottom line in this example is that there is a positive cash flow of $1,546 per month. Once income is identified and expenses have been tracked, a budget can be established. Stick to your new budget and adjust as necessary. You can do this also to examine your existing expenses to see if there are opportunities to lower your costs. Positive cash flow can be directed toward reducing debt, which is a serious impediment to your financial well-being. It can also be allocated to achieving other short, mid, and longer-term financial goals. Put positive cash flow toward establishing an emergency fund. Once you've done that, it's good to evaluate your cash flow statement. Pay attention to which categories of spending are fixed and which are variable. For instance, you might not be able to change your rent or mortgage payments, but you can cut down on utilities by making sure you do simple things like being more efficient, turning off lights we're not using, cut down on groceries, shop more efficiently. Take a fresh look at your spending, a fresh approach, and ask yourself, who in the family unit is doing the spending? What actually are they buying? How much is really necessary? You need it. And how much is discretionary? You want it. How much is fixed from month to month? And how much is variable or subject to change? How does your overall family unit spending reflect your short, mid, and long-term financial goals? Once you've reviewed your spending, you can take what you learned from analyzing your cash flow and spending to create a budget to reflect your financial goals. This is a sample of a budget using a very easy Excel spreadsheet. Notice the attention to detail in this budget. The budget shows both annual amounts and monthly amounts, and budgets can be adjusted and modified on an ongoing basis, and they should be. Some participants have shared with me ways to help control expenses and managing costs so that they stay within the amounts budgeted going forward. Some budgeting tips: getting buy-in from everyone involved, credit cards versus the all-cash budget. You've included your partner, spouse, and family in the process to determine your cash flow, but this is where you really need to get their buy-in, to have these conversations. If you're going to cut your household expenses, everyone is going to have to be on board. You may find that awareness is enough. Maybe your budget busters were mindless spending on things they really didn't need. However, if you really need to cut back, you might need to switch from credit card spending to a cash budget until you all get the hang of it, get used to this. Researchers have found that people are willing to spend up to double the amount when using credit cards as opposed to actually taking cash out of their pocketbook or wallet. If you are paying with cash, It's easy to start the month with just an allowance. And when you run out of money, that's when you stop spending for that month. Be sure that your budget includes a category for savings, both planned and unexpected events. If you find that certain type of expenses are often coming out of the unexpected category, maybe you need to make that a permanent spot on your budget. For additional help, the EY Navigate website is a terrific resource, as well as calling the EY Financial Planner line. This is a great source with cash flow analysis and budgeting. You can learn more on the EY Navigate website at wespath.eynavigate.com. Go to the Learning Center and take a look for cash flow and budgeting at the bottom left of the pages. If you need someone to walk you through the process, pick up the phone and have a confidential, objective conversation with an EY financial planner. The EY Financial Planning Center has terrific tools, calculators, and other resources. They also have a financial wellness assessment that you can take and an account aggregation tool. So be sure, if you haven't already, register for EY Navigate and make those calls to EY regarding establishing a budget, looking carefully and calculating your cash flow, do a retirement funding analysis, include your spouse if they have any retirement benefits. They can also look at your contributions to the United Methodist Personal Investment Plan. They can help you look at not just how much you are contributing from your paycheck, but how is that coming out of your paycheck? Is it on a before-tax basis? Should you consider Roth contributions? What is your investment allocation? Are you taking into consideration outside assets or your spouse's retirement plans? Some action planning or next step. These webinars are certainly important, but they're only as important as the action or the behavior you take following listening to this mini webinar. Create those cash flow statements. Build a budget using whatever method is right for you. Call EY for help. Additional resources in the 2020 Vision webinar series. Please be sure to view our short debt reduction mini webinar. We also have a savings on healthcare costs mini webinar, spending and investment your health savings accounts. United Methodist Personal Investment Plan was recorded with a focus on savings. Be sure to view those resources, contact EY for assistance, as well as reach out to the Wespath Participant Solution Center going forward. I thank you very much for joining this webinar. Thank you for your service, and thank you for listening today.